and from there down to the Philippines. But I can remember we struck another storm that day. That day it was a very bad storm. One of the chaps, you know, that English TV bloke, Clive James, his father was a prisoner of war in Japan, and he was on a plane flying from Japan to the Philippines, and the plane got lost. His father got killed.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, I was on this big one day. I was leaning over the rail, and David Hinder came along to me, and he said, "How you going, lad? You picked up, you're feeling better?" And he was inquiring how I was.
He recognised you as his patient?
Recognised me and went out of his way to see how I was.
Yes. Was that the only occasion he did that? Or?
Well, yeah, that's the only occasion I can remember. It's the last time I ever saw him, I think. And then we went down to the Philippines, and then that's when they asked us, you know, could we fill in any forms of any atrocities we'd seen.
So did you fill out any affidavits?
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah. So do you have copies of them?
Oh, I didn't have copies of them, no, but I filled in about the bloke that was in the commander of the camp. We were in Japan, in Yamani. You might have heard him. We called him the lollylopper, because when we got there, he stood on a soapbox and pulled out his sword, and he said, "I've cut many of your countrymen's heads off in New Guinea." I don't think he'd ever been there, but he said, "If you try and escape or don't work hard," and you know, we just called him the lollylopper from then on.
Yes.
And the Japanese doctor in the camp, he was a bad son, so we filled in forms about him. He'd lock guys in and let them freeze to death, and I think he got hanged, or both of them got hanged.
Yes, yeah. And then how did you get home to Australia?
I got flown home.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
To what? To where?
Well, to Darwin.
Yes.
I was on a Liberator to Darwin. I got to Darwin, and some of the Air Force guys said, "Oh, these planes are obsolete now, you wouldn't get me on them." But they'd been stripped of everything. We were just inside. I remember sitting out in the rear gunner's spot.
That would have been unique.
Yeah. And then the next day, we stopped overnight in Darwin. The next day, we flew down to Perth, but halfway down, something went wrong with the plane, and they landed out on the Never, on just a brown dirt track, and a bit of the cowling had come off the engine or something, and the guys repaired it with an old kerosene tin.
Oh, really?
I thought, geez, I've been through 3.5 years of
hell.
And looks like something's gone wrong. Anyway, they fixed it up and right back in Guildford.
Yes.
Yeah. So I got home before a lot of the guys.
Yes. Yeah.
Got home in October.
But you weren't discharged for another 3 months?
Oh, no.
Were you in hospital?
Well, the first, we were taken straight to Hollywood Hospital. And I was there for a couple of days, and my mother came down and saw me, and they gave us leave, and I went home. And then we had to go back to hospital again. Then they put us in a camp at Point Water.
Oh, yes.
We were in there for 2 or 3 weeks. Then we got leave till I got discharged. So that was the story. And we had a good time in Point Water.
Well, and you deserved it too.
But one of the things that you asked me if I smoked,
yes,
when they dropped cigarettes down to us, it was Camels and what's those other sort?
Craven was an Australian cigarette.
Beautiful cigarettes, but the guys were arguing about which was the best, and you know, you've got the best ones. And I thought, gee, they've had nothing for 3.5. They used to smoke some terrible stuff, you know.
Yes.
Like just dried seaweed, and yeah, they were arguing over which was the best cigarettes.
Yes. Now, there's an old lawyer, he died last year or the year before in Newcastle, and he was on the line, and he was also in Japan. and he said to me that he thought that things were worse in Japan than they were on the line.
Well, for me, they were.
Yes.
I've always said that.
Yes.
Some of your mates won't agree with me, but I'd never got through another few months.
Yeah.
No, worse than Japan. There was a fence around the Armony, big high wooden fence. You felt you were in prison. In the railway line, you could get into the jungle, you could scrounge a bit. I know there was diseases and bashings and everything, but it was hopeless in Japan. It was terrible.
Can I just take you back onto the line? Did you manage to keep your boots while you were working on the line, or
They gradually wore out.
Yeah. How soon did they wear out?
Oh,
did they rot, or what?
Yeah, they rot and fell to pieces.
Yes.
Yeah, they fell to pieces, and my hat did too. I had a slouch hat, and that gradually deteriorated.
So what did you wear on your head?
I had a bit of rag.
Bit of rag.
Yeah. And in Singapore, I'd found a piece of blue cloth of a blind, and I had that with me all the way up Rowan. I use it as a towel, I use it as a sarong, I use it as a sheet at night. I had this blue piece of cloth about the size of a sheet. It was invaluable to me.
So you had a backpack, you had your army pack all the time?
I think I had me pack, yeah.
And what about your clothes, did they wear out?
Yeah, they gradually wore out. I had a pair of shorts. I don't think I ever got into those Jap happy things. I think my shorts lasted. They were getting pretty ragged. I used to wash them and wear them wet, and they used to dry on me.